Welcome to Spiritual as Fuck.
Spiritual as fuck.
Where spirituality meets the real world. I'm Liz Volpe, serial entrepreneur, passionate changemaker, and intuitive. I love inspiring people to dream big and create positive change in the world.
I'm Diane Driscoll, a coach, facilitator, and speaker who uses channeled insights to activate transformation in leaders, entrepreneurs, and change makers.
We share real and raw spiritual stories, give you a safe space to challenge what's normal, and have some serious fun along the way.
Come join us as we get spiritual as fuck.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Spiritual as Fuck Unfiltered. You've asked for it, so here it is. Today, we are answering the questions that you have sent in. So, real questions, very raw answers, no holding back today, Diane. All right, is that the commitment from us both?
Rap on the knuckles, yes. No holding back.
Yeah, thank you to everyone that's sent in a question. And if you don't already follow us on Instagram, definitely come along for the ride, because this is kind of where we always put these challenges out and get you involved a little bit more. So our Instagram is spiritual.a.f. So come and follow along. So yeah, today I am going to be the quiz master, and we're going to go through the questions and we're just going to answer them. So Diane, I'm going to kick off with a question for you. Are you ready?
Hit me with it.
Okay. Okay, here we go. So this is from one of our listeners. You are so connected and complement each other's energies so brilliantly. Oh, thanks.
Aww.
Did you feel this instantly when you first met? And do you think there is a past life connection between you?
Oh. Very good. Well, I love that. Like, it's even the fact that people say, you know, that our energies complement each other, that we bounce well off each other. Like, it's always nice to hear that, because we feel it. We definitely do. But did we feel a connection when we first met? So I think because we had first met, you know, through email, and it was almost like very transactional at first, until we had both had our spiritual awakening. And I just remember our first engagement on Instagram when I found you doing your tarot readings, or not your readings, on the mass medium, and I was getting into my spiritual stuff as well. And it was like that first phone call, absolutely, there was like fireworks between us. And there's no doubt about it that since that day, I have definitely felt that we've had past lives, that we're here in each other's lives for a reason. And that's not just to do with the podcast. Like, it's so much more than that. It's like even just that, you know, the personal chit chat that we have of just stuff that's going on with family, going on with life. And a lot of it always has a spiritual side to it. But also, when I think of Ainsley MacLeod, who was on the podcast with us, he said we had past lives connections together. I have had it come up in, I think, at least 2 or 3 different readings that we have been sisters in past lives previously as well. So, yeah, there isn't a single doubt in my mind that, yeah, soul sisters, me and you, babe.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. The click was too real, wasn't it? Immediately.
Exactly.
You know, we didn't stop talking then, and we definitely don't stop talking now.
Exactly. People need to shut us up.
Good question. Thank you. Okay, now one for me. I want to develop more of my psychic abilities. Where do I start? Ooh, okay. This is the type of question that I love. There's so many places to start, honestly. I mean, early on in my journey, in my younger years, the most obvious thing was head to the bookshop, buy the books. You know, I had like as many books as possible on psychic development that I possibly could. But it's kind of different, isn't it, reading a book than actually going to try it? Don't you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, you can read all the theory you like. And I remember thinking back then, I'm going to read these books and I'll suddenly just know what to do. And unfortunately, it didn't really go like that for me personally. Some people, it might. But I think if you feel that you're intuitive and you're just feeling pulled or drawn or just interested in learning more, it starts with really basic spiritual practice. You know, we carry around all of this big, buzzy, fuzzy energy all day. And to get a really clear connection intuitively is just about really what I call clearing the pond. It's about settling the mind and clearing it. And of course, meditation. It comes down to that. That to me is like go to meditate, get clear, and then your channel, like that big antenna, is all the way up, and things naturally start to drop in if you just open your awareness. And that's obviously kind of key too, is be open to spotting the signs and for receiving these little intuitive hits that come through. And you have to keep a journal. I always harp on this, don't I? Like, write it down, write it down.
Yes. And I still don't do it as much as I should.
I mean, for me, it's just like a notes, 7 million notes on my phone by now. Like, 'cause I'm like, oh, where did that little drop in come on from? That's really random thing to think about right now as I'm dropping the kids off. Quick note it down, and then 2 weeks later, something happens and I'm remember, wait a minute, did I write something in my phone about this? Oh wow, look at that. That's come true. Wow, I get validation. And the validation acts as a snowball theory. The more that you get, the more kind of powerful your intuition becomes, and then your psychic senses develop.
Yeah.
And obviously, you've got to join a group, you've got to practice.
Yeah, and I do want to do a shout out here to a lot of the work that you do, Liz, in the Intuition Academy, because I do think that, whether you have a mentor or a coach or a program that you join, because until you have practical application and you've got someone who's guiding you through it, that's almost even helping you, not listen to the negative voice in your head, or that's helping you find that validation. It's so good to do something practical where someone is bringing you through and guiding you through those. I know for me that shifted a lot of my practices in myself and even the faith in myself through doing your program. So yeah, just a general shout, because you're too modest to shout out for things like that.
Thanks, Diane. It's so true. You've actually got to practice so much that you work out how, oh, look at that. I've got a nice little thumbs up there from the screen. Thank you. You've got to practice so much that you get everything wrong and you work out how your psychic senses don't work first, to then figure out how they do work. And then once you attune to that, that's when things kind of blow open and things really start happening. And you just can't do that solely from reading or listening to videos. You've got to be in some type of a circle. So yeah, good luck with that. Okay, Diane, let's have a look. Oh, this is a good question for you. Diane, what if you have a channeled message for someone specifically, but you don't have permission to just give them that little tap on the shoulder and say, oh, by the way, I've got this message for you. What do you do with that message until you're invited, if you're ever going to be?
Yeah, this comes up a lot, this question, insofar as and I think I probably have very strong opinions on this, and it probably stems back for me to the episode we did with John Edward. And John Edward tells an amazing story about how he blurted out a download that he had received, or a channeled message that he had received for someone about their dad passing away, and it was their dad's birthday. Now, this was out of context. He said it outright. And the poor girl, he really, really shook her. But it was a fantastic learning for John. And it was great that he passed it on to us. And I'm sure he's told the story many times before. But it's like, and I remember him saying about also, if you're a doctor, you don't just go around start giving people cancer diagnosis or things like that. So there's a weight of responsibility that comes with our gifts. And if we get a download, I'll only speak for me personally, if I do get a download, because a very specific example, we interviewed someone, Liz, you don't even know this, but we interviewed someone a few months back, and I got a download while we were doing the interview, and it would not leave me. And I mean, a week later, it still hadn't left me. I reached out to that person because I felt so strongly that I had been chatting to them anyway. We had a relationship, I guess, through the podcast. But I reached out and I said, I have been getting an intuitive hit about in relation to you. Would you like me to share it with you?
Yeah.
And he was totally open to it. Absolutely. Love. We did a great chat. We ended up having a Zoom call, all of these sorts of things out of it, which was fantastic. But I even questioned myself afterwards and thought, ooh, do you put a person on the spot then almost that they can't say no if you even say, oh, I've just had an injury, I've had a download, someone has a message. So I would just say to people, really, really consider about doing it. Don't just blurt out. Don't just assume that someone will want to know, and especially if it's a loved one who's passed, because you don't know where they are in their grief journey. You don't know how they will receive that message. You don't know what's going on in their life. Um, of course, when you're doing a paid reading, someone that has already given permission for that, that's a paid, there's an energy exchange, you've agreed to do it. But outside of that, if you are not in a trusted circle, say, like we were just mentioning there, if you're doing it with other people where you do have permission, always seek permission beforehand. Ask and don't just blurt it all out because we don't know where the people are at.
Oh, absolutely. Good answer. Because obviously I get hits all the time for you, Diane.
Yes.
And I'll straight away be like, got something for you.
And we literally have an open agreement.
Yeah.
But we still always do check in with each other. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I've got this sense, I've got this feeling, I've got this download. And it's like, it's always, and it's like, I'm never going to say no.
I know it's one of those, like, if you've got a spiritual buddy, then, and you already know, like, this is something that you're talking about,
Yeah.
again, still ask permission that you can tell them. But if it's someone that isn't spiritual connected at all, and they might feel very awkward or uncomfortable with it, you've just, I mean, I wouldn't just be blurting something out. No way.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is that more so comes from a place of ego.
It does. I
Yeah,
want to
and it's
prove something right here.
Yeah, and it's almost like, oh, I've got this hot potato almost that I don't know what to do with. I need to throw it at someone. I need to get it out of here, and seeking the validation as well. So yeah, really, it is. Is it in the other person's best interest? Especially if you don't have inherent permission.
And that's the type of thing you write down. Right there. Write it down. And I like how you describe that hot potato, because that's what happens to me, especially when I've got a connection with someone. It's like they will not allow me to continue. Like they're really being loud to me. And it's hard sometimes to not actually need to just say it out loud, but make a note of it. And perhaps there'll be a time that it's allowed to come out. Yeah, it is a tough
I think,
one.
yeah, just to add to that as well, because if you're on the receiving end of that, so it's not just if you feel like you want to give this information to someone else. I've been on the receiving end of so many people because of the nature of the work that we do and the nature of the connections we have, the amount of people who, oh, I've got a message for you today, or I've had a download for you today, and a lot of the time, and especially if it's people who want to send me healing energy, I literally, it's a no from me. It's a 100% no from me unless I have, and that's, and I will instantly say that to people, and I don't feel bad about it because for me, my energy, and I will invite, or I will, pay for a healing service, or I will engage someone if I want a reading. That's, to me, that's the contract, that's the exchange. Whereas if it comes unsolicited, I never feel particularly good about it. Again, there's a handful of people that you've kind of got that relationship with that, that's something that you inherently know over time. But in general, don't go.
Well, I'm glad you've mentioned that. The healing one. It's not just about the dropping intuitive psychic messages, the healing stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Do you
it's
remember, Diane,
anything energetic.
that I once felt someone connecting in with my energy. Do you remember that? And
Yes.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
And that's my bad for not having good protection all the bloody time, right? Because, and that's why protection exists. I mean, not that many people start going around like trying to connect with your energy, but lucky I had the awareness on that personally, but it made me feel very uncomfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. But your senses were heightened enough for you to be able to recognize that. Like, I mean, I've done clearings on people where they don't even realize half of the things that are in their field or attached to them. So that's, don't go there, people. Don't go there.
Well, this is the perfect lead into the next question, actually. This is one for both of us here.
Yeah.
What part of the spiritual industry gives you the ick? Oh.
Go on, you go first.
The spiritual industry, it's a funny old beast, isn't it? It's
industry, the spiritual industry, that even sounds wrong, the two terms together.
No, it's filled with just a whole plethora of individuals with different beliefs and different ways of doing things. I try to be as non-judgmental as I possibly can anyway about people on their own journeys and doing things. But there are definitely a few things where, I watch certain people on Instagram that straight away I'm like, oh, I'm getting big resistance. Like I don't want to be
Yeah.
following this person, or especially if they're very fear-driven and they're
Yes.
talking about like doom and gloom and getting people to follow you from fear. I don't like that. That to me is like, nah. Even though, some things are realistic in the world, they're not all going to be love and light, but there's a certain way to do it, I think.
Absolutely. How you present the information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, which I know I mentioned to you earlier, Diane, is there are certain, let's call them gurus out there in the world, or huge spiritual leaders that, have got millions or thousands and thousands of followers that are promoting spirituality and modalities in a really sexualized way. You
Yes.
don't come across these people all the time, but they are there. And I recently saw a healing modality, and like live healings being shown via video via Instagram of women that just looked so sexual, and it looked like they were in a heightened state in the wrong way. I'll put it
Yeah.
that way. That was very
Yeah. Yeah.
diplomatic.
Yeah.
But when I watched it, I was like, oh wow, this is like selling healing via selling sex. Like it was not good.
Yeah, there's a perversion kind of almost energy about it. Yeah, I completely agree. That stuff, and I guess for people listening, it's like trust your bodily response to things like this. If you get like that ick or that shudder through your body, or you don't want to be looking at something, they're not your people. Don't follow that. And there is a lot of that out there, and a lot of it is very ego driven. I think I would add to that, for me, a lot of the people who are, and this for me probably comes because I'm a trauma informed coach, that
Mm.
anyone who is really not trauma informed yet providing all of these healings or modalities, or even plant-based medicine, all this sort of stuff that's supposed to target trauma. And it's like, trauma is a very complex thing, and especially for anyone with either childhood or complex PTSD, anything like that, to create so-called ceremonies
Yeah.
to help people, and then walk away and leave them. And you don't know what way they're in. You don't know whether you've re-traumatized them, because they don't understand the nature of trauma. And for me, that's what I hate seeing as well. It's just the people who, and I do believe like that a lot of people do have the best interests in heart. But
Yeah.
like the last question we were talking about, you might have the best interest at heart wanting to give someone some information. But if you're not qualified, if you don't have a well-rounded understanding of it, or you're trying to do too many people in a group kind of setting, or you're out in a remote jungle somewhere and you don't have the resources around you, if someone were to get into a significant state of harm or a state of vulnerability, yeah, that's not responsible. That to me does not fit with being truly spiritual in nature. So yeah, for me, that's anything that has got to do with trauma, and anything that is, basically even leaning on almost like the appropriation of, whether it's shamanism or, and don't get me wrong, I know there are people we can learn from, lots of different spiritual teachers, and I do believe there are really great people out there. But just because you spent 5 minutes with a shaman doesn't mean that then you can do, shamanistic journeys, or that you can bring people through an ayahuasca ceremony or things like that. So it's those sorts of, just really have a lot of respect and discernment for your own abilities, as well as for the abilities of whoever you're signing up to do a program with or do an event with.
Yeah, it's just to go a little bit deeper in this, because I feel like it's a really important conversation. As any type of a healer, like you said, whether it's breath work or you're doing something more intense, sometimes someone will book for a healing or, come on a course, and you don't know anything about their history. So
Yes.
you, as the practitioner, are also putting yourself in quite a dangerous position. And recently, I met beautiful people that ran ayahuasca, kind of underground ayahuasca circles. And unfortunately, they went through a terrible time because one of the guys that came on the circle ended up going to take his own life. after taking ayahuasca.
Oh,
And
God.
you can imagine, I mean, they were all the best interests. They weren't going out intentionally trying to harm anyone, but they then had to go through, obviously, police investigations and all this type of stuff. And they didn't know that he already had mental health issues.
Yeah.
And that really kind of opened my eyes to, wow, what should you do in that situation when anyone's coming to you? Like, do you need to know a little bit of background? Like, what type of safety things do you need to put into place before you're just going to offer a service to someone? Because you never know what could happen, right?
And you can have, like, I mean, I know for me, because like coaching wise, that is a requirement. I will always have vetting in for who the people are that I'm working with, and particularly from a mental health perspective. But even if you have all the vetting and the questionnaires and everything in place, it doesn't stop someone from then lying or saying, oh no, or trivializing what they're, or maybe they walk into that ceremony thinking that they've done a lot of work on themselves. Maybe they do
Yeah.
have trauma and they think they're at a really good place and they're ready for this. But none of us know, and that's the complexity of trauma. You don't know what Pandora's box you're going to open, or what you're going to trigger, or what because we do end up getting people to bring down their like their defense mechanisms. They're
Mm.
opening up spiritually, they're opening up in so many different ways. So it is a new experience for them. So to be fair to the person coming into this, whatever the ceremony, the healing, especially, it's generally for me, it is around the group settings, the large group settings. Because if you're doing it with a person one-on-one, you have your full attention,
Yeah.
your full focus on them. But when it's those larger mass groups that feel very commercial in nature, that it's almost like the conveyor belt of just sending people through, and we're doing the next one and the next one. It feels very dangerous to me.
Scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's horrible. And yeah, just something for anyone that's sat here and just studied a healing modality. Like, it's important to think about, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. This is a really good question that we've got from a listener here. Okay. Do you have any ideas why so many leaders in the spiritual space are remaining quiet during this time of revelation, particularly regarding the Epstein files? Diane, let's start with you on this one. This is a good question.
Yeah.
That's a big question.
This is a big question, and I think it's a question. So I want to look at this in two ways. So it's all well and good to look outwards at other spiritual leaders, but I think all of us, every person listening, you and I, Liz, as well, it's like we need to take a look at ourselves as well and think, well, where has my voice been on this? So if I look out at the spiritual leaders, or the so-called gurus, or people who have names and brands and well known out there, why are they not speaking out? And I feel that a lot of it is related to fear.
Yeah.
And there's multiple levels of fear. Like, I do feel one is fear of polarization. So once you start talking about this, then instantly you start dividing people, because people will agree with you and not agree with you.
Mm.
And for a lot of people, I believe, who are truly spiritual, they don't want to cause more division. They don't want to have that separation, that polarization of people. They don't want to be putting the, us against them sort of thing. So there's that fear of polarization, but there is also the commercial component of, oh, I don't want to alienate my audience. So it's not good for business to be outspoken about some of these things. So you're instantly going to say, okay, there's a fear that my enterprise, if you're a big name, is going to be impacted by that. So that's some of the fears. But then there's two other layers that are almost like the fear for families. So like, if I'm a big name and I do want to get outspoken about this, like, there are a lot of people that, I'm not going to name names and that, but people whose families have been targeted because they have spoken out, or they've lost their lives because they've spoken out. So that's a very real fear. But also, if you are a person who is a spiritual guru, let's say, or a spiritual name, and you have done something wrong, or you may happen to appear in some files or done something untoward, then you've got the fear of being caught.
Absolutely.
So there's so much fear. And I think for me, it's like all of that fear packaged together here's the conspiracy theorist in me coming out, but that's where the powers that be want us. It's like holding us in that sense of fear as much as possible. And if you can get the spiritual community into multiple layers of fear, and all of us probably fit into one of those buckets, like in some way, whether it's, fear for family, fear for business, fear for polarizing because we want the best for humanity, or fear that, oh shit, I've done something wrong, I don't want to get caught. And that's even at a micro level. It doesn't have to be the big things. But then also there's basic spiritual bypassing, the people who, oh, it's all love and light. Oh, it's, I'm going to completely avoid that there is anything bad going on in the world. Or, oh, there must be good and there must be evil, and I'm going to play on the part of good. But and I get that if it's a conscious decision to operate in that way, but you can't avoid that there are bad, like really bad things going on in the world right now.
Mm, yeah.
And the
Oh
last
gosh.
thing, and this is probably really true for me as well, is people's nervous systems right now don't have the capacity to handle all of the shit that's been thrown at them in their own lives, never mind the stuff that's going on globally. And what I relate this to is like when I was pregnant with my daughter, and when she was born, that was when I stopped listening to the news. So
Yeah.
I literally, my nervous system does not have the capacity to listen to the news. Why? Because most of it is orchestrated. It is trying to keep us in that level of fear. We can't be manipulated, or we're easier to be manipulated when we're in that place of fear. But that's my sense on the outward, like as in what I see about why those spiritual gurus. But I have reflected on this question about for myself as well, like where, you know, for me,
What do I believe? Yeah,
yeah,
me
exactly.
too.
And that's why I love this question. I really, because it brought that to a deeper thing. Because while I felt I knew my reasons, I've never had to declare them. I've never stood up and shouted them out or put them on an Instagram post or yeah, but I I am very conscious about how polarization works. And if I take a stand on something, and like, I mean, I will even look at this in terms of, not just Epstein files, but like, I mean, if we're talking about war, we're talking, like, I mean, I won't go into specific wars. If we're talking about religions, we're talking about, immigration. Like there's so many hot topics right now. But if you speak out on any of those, there is that polarization. And for me, I make a conscious choice that I do not want to add to the polarization. I'm
Yeah,
and that's probably because how I view the world of wanting to operate at a higher consciousness level. And if we all take that stand, then we have some chance of humanity getting back on track. And yeah,
yeah,
it's just all of the politics, all of the stuff is designed to keep us, reactive, divided, in fear, manipulated. And then it's just we're constantly throwing stones at each other while, the powers that be are just raking in all the money and, doing all of the things that they want to be doing. So that's a very sanitized way of putting it. But
hmm. And I
yeah,
think that, oh, sorry,
no, no, go.
I think that a lot of leaders are probably waiting for the clarity to drop in as well, right? Because there's so much talk about it. Every time I go onto social media, there's different people with different views, and some of them are diving in and reading the files, and some of them are just giving judgment or opinion.
Yeah,
How the hell do you know what the real truth is, really? Like, you've got to kind of, unless I actually go and spend a good few hours and read the files myself and come up with
yeah,
exactly what I think,
yeah,
we know that the media isn't necessarily going to feed us the truth. You've got to be able to kind of take a little bit of time and drop into what your feeling is on it, I think, because it's just too muddy. It's too muddy. And my other thought is that a lot of spiritual leaders, I mean, there's thousands of people mentioned in these files, right? Like thousands.
absolutely. Yeah,
A lot of them will be truly guilty on doing
yeah,
really, really horrible things. And there'll be a proportion of people that names are in there and will be guilty by association. Like,
yes,
that may have done absolutely nothing but met the guy once,
yeah, yeah,
received an email. So there'll be a lot of leaders that are genuinely feeling really pissed off because they may have met him once at some gala and now their name is out there, right? Like, that's pretty devastating for some people too.
yeah. But when you look at it, we are all busy little bees at the moment, analyzing having opinions, like the amount of energy, collective global energy, at least in the Western world, that is on this one topic is
Got to ask what's secretly squirreling on in the background that we're being turned away from.
exactly. And even if we're not, so for very personally for me, even if they're like, I mean, I get the whole distraction. Oh, look over here, and there's something else going on over there. But how I boil it down, again, this is before I became spiritual. For me, it was more, if I have limited energy and limited capacity to do good in this world on any given day, I want to be spending my time doing good for humanity,
Where is
using
your
my
focus?
gifts, using my ability, doing whatever I can to contribute to the greater good of humanity. Because if I'm spending all my time fucking scanning through with ChatGPT to go through the Epstein files, or reading articles on what's happening, on multiple wars or multiple religious, divisions, that is not going to serve me. It won't serve my family. It won't serve my community. And that's why I believe the whole puppeteering is like, if we keep everybody down in that real denser energy, in that fear, in that kind of distracted energy, none of us are doing any good. There's no creativity in that place. There is no good for humanity. There's nothing coming out of that. Like, that's a cesspool rather than a, ideas melting pot, or that sort of elevation of humanity. So for me, it's a very conscious decision that I don't weigh in. And also, I have a lot of respect for, and not that I want to call it, like, there are different levels of consciousness, but there are a lot of people that I could have deep conversations with that they wouldn't get what I'm talking about. So even here, I'm being choiceful in the words that I'm saying. Like, I mean, I'm not going to go full on conspiracy theorist here, but it's like, I'm open minded on all of those things. And I just think, even that, like, I've noticed my feed, say on Instagram, on Facebook, whatever socials feed, is coming through with a lot more heavier content than it ever used to. And like, hey, I'm someone who focused on mental health for years and years. I'm used to a lot of heavy content, but this is next level, and so much of it is distraction. And it's to the point that none of us can believe in the truth. The good thing about all of this, though, and I do want to put a good thing on it, is when we're all challenged to say we don't know what's real, or that how can our leaders, how can these people, whether it's entertainment, whoever we put up on a pedestal, if those people are not behaving in a way that we think, oh my God, like, this is absolutely horrific. It's not even just basic level, good human. It's horrific how these people are behaving. Then that helps us go inward. It helps us look for new ways. So I do believe that this is the breaking down of the old structures and the building of the new, because it's forcing us to, to claim our sovereignty, to look within, to actually take a position on how we individually want to show up in the world. And that is, I think, the kind of catalyst for change, for the global change that is needed.
And at this point, I say that if you didn't listen to the last episode with Luke Ball,
Yes.
the astrologer, this is the one to listen to if this stuff interests you. Because he specifically said, with everything going on in the world, you have to stay balanced in the middle. Forget the judging, forget the opinions, just stay balanced and central, and you can't go wrong. So good on you, Luke. I think great advice there.
Absolutely, yes. Go back and re-listen, folks.
Okay, next question. One to me here. How do I take my spiritual journey to the next level? I get drop-in messages and I see spirits in the corner of my eye. I used to see spirits as a kid, which scared me. Oh, God, yeah. I mean, seeing spirits as a child, I mean, it's quite scary, isn't it, really?
Definitely.
I feel like when it comes to mediumship and connecting with spirit, I feel like you are always naturally guided to get to that next part of the journey when you meant to. I feel like you can fast track it as well, but for me, my story of all of a sudden being literally pulled with no choice to start automatic writing to make my first ever, well, what I knew as a spirit contact, was something that I just couldn't not do. But I feel like you could start that with curiosity anyway. And if you want to develop mediumship and ability to connect with spirit, it really starts with bringing your vibration as high as you possibly can. Definitely to the spiritual practice of meditation, obviously. But then actually just having a go. I know that I still do this to this day, but the easiest way for me to make connection is via photographs, is for having something in front of me. So getting a photograph of someone that's crossed over that you don't know anything about. Because if you do know a lot about them, it gets in your way. But just actually starting to try and sit down and do 5 minutes of meditation and drop into a really calm state, having a photograph to take a look at, invite them forward and just sit with a journal and see what the hell happens. There's obviously a lot to this, but I'm not going to start talking about it for the next 2 hours, but I feel like you can just give it a go and start to write notes, and having a safe friend that's not going to judge you or go like, nah, nah, that's wrong. No. And actually saying to them, look, I'm curious about this. I might not be able to give you anything right at all, but I want to see if I can bring information through and how I get information. Because again, the how is different for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, you might just get a feeling, you might hear something, you might get shown an image. And it's about just getting it on paper and learning how to become a translator, because really that's what a medium is. Do you have anything to add to that, Diane?
I think for me, just the fact that I mean, I know we've said this previously about, working in groups and things like that, but I do find like for us, our spiritual renegades community, that, that offers a safe place with people that you don't necessarily know, that if you were practicing skills like this, that you can do that, or you can offer readings. And even for us, like our download sessions, like in other ways,
Yes.
it's
Which are
just,
every month, by the way. Come
yeah,
along.
it's things like that that I just think finding avenues to be able to practice your skills in the safest possible ways. And
Yeah.
and again, like this one in particular, because so many of the people people belonging to them as well. So it's very difficult that if it is someone in spirit and you happen to know them. But if you've got a group of strangers or a community that you don't really know an awful lot about, it makes it a lot safer then to be able to, to explore your gifts and in a safer way and in a more gradual way.
Because, yeah, half the time when this starts to happen to you, you think you're going crazy and you think you're making it up. And
Yeah.
something's just dropped. Well, a memory is dropped in for me. So when this started to happen to me, and I was like, oh my God, is this real? I went on a course with my first ever mentor, Lindy Gunston, who we interviewed all the way back in the
Way
beginning of
back.
this podcast.
Hey, Lyndon.
It was a mediumship like circle. I think it was like 6 weeks at the time. And what Lindy would do is really cool. Like she'd bring an item of some type, and it'd be via Zoom, and she'd hold an item and just say to all of us, just literally have a few breaths, connect with this, and just write down anything at all that comes through. I always remember this day. I'm sat with my headphones on the couch. My husband's watching TV. So I'm thinking I'll just give this a shot. So she holds up a hat, just like a normal guy's hat, like a sports hat. And I'm tuning in, and I'm thinking, well, I'm just going to write anything down. Like this is a lot of crap. There's no way I can get anything. And straight away, I'm shown a bus. I'm shown going to work. What else was it? I can't really remember now. But basically, I saw this man that takes the bus to go to work, blah, 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 blah. And it came at the end, you have to share it. And I said, look, I've got this young guy. He looks a little bit like this. He takes the bus to work. And I got kind of like some feelings around his personality and stuff. And she was like, oh my God, he was a bus driver. Yes, at this age. Yes, yes. And it literally, she was like, yes, 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 yes. My face on that couch, I was like this to my husband. Oh my God. And he's like, what the hell?
Shit
But that
really
took
works.
me, yeah, like so early on in my journey. Like I couldn't go and practice on my own and get that type of feeling like, wow, this is actually real.
Yes.
That's invaluable for
Yeah.
learning mediumship.
Yeah, and again, it shows to do it in a group where you have similar people, focused on the same thing. Whereas if you do that with a bunch of friends, they're not going to have the same
Yeah.
intention or the same
And you're
sort of
scared to get
frequency
things
as you are.
wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. So definitely for anyone, there's lots of ways of doing this. But yeah, if you're interested in Renegades or one of Liz's programs, definitely. But there are so many ways to do this. Just, yeah, find the one that's right for you.
Yeah, and so many good people too. Like just feel who you vibe with
Yeah,
and go into a
totally.
course. Okay. This is a question I've been waiting for, Diane.
Drum roll.
What are your thoughts on ETs and aliens?
I think you need to take this first.
Oh,
I
go
want
on,
to hear
okay. All
because
right.
I talk about this a lot, I feel.
All right. Do I believe it? Yes. I know I follow everything like this just because I find it super interesting. I feel like from being really young, I've just always had a really strong knowing that there's other life out there. I don't care if people think I'm crazy, honestly, on my beliefs on this. The one thing I find really interesting is for the last few years, I have watched other channelers, spiritual people and guides and mentors talk about spiritual and alien contact in 2026, more towards the end of this year.
Yeah.
And that excites the crap out of me. I'm like, I really hope they're right because I want to see this with my own eyes. I'm going to be able to turn around to my friends and be like, see, they're real. And I quite often talk about this in my family just to, uh, make it feel, if it ever does happen or when it does happen, and like make
Ah,
sure that they're not scared, especially my kids, because
yeah.
I don't think that there's any malice that comes from these other life forms. I think that actually they've probably always helped us. There's evidence of extraterrestrials through every ancient civilization. If you look in Egypt, the paintings on the wall, Aboriginal history here in Australia, like there's so much evidence that we are told not to believe. And if you are a believer, you're made out to be crazy. But obviously, we've got lots of talk about this stuff in the media at the moment. And I'm not going to
Yeah.
go down the conspiracy and all the stories either, but that's just my very quick take on it. Diane,
Oh, so now you want me to go into the
you can
conspiracy?
go more to detail with that.
So I guess, yeah, thoughts and beliefs for me, 100% similar to you, Liz, from an early age. Like I think one of the first books that I ever bought for myself was on astronomy. Um, is he Sir Patrick Moore back in the day? Um, but I was always, always, always fascinated with it as a topic. And then I was trying to figure out what age I was. I think I might have been 9 or 10, and I did see an extraterrestrial. So, like, as a spaceship. So I explored this. So,
Have you already told me
Claudia,
that before, or have I just forgotten?
I think I don't know whether I have or not. I think I
You're
have
going to have
because
to tell us a little bit more about that, Diane.
no,
Just drop it there, I saw an ET, and then we'll carry on.
Claudia or Elena that did my QHHT regression. So it came up on that because I wanted to find out why am I so fascinated with ancient civilizations and with extraterrestrials. And she brought me back to the moment where all of this was happening and stuff that I had completely forgotten about. And when I saw it, and I definitely felt in the session that I did with her that there was time lapsed in that as well. I need to listen back to that. It's right now. I'm just thinking, oh, total goosebumps. I need to listen back to the session that I had with her. But when I left that, I ran home, told my dad about it, and my dad didn't freak out and say, "Oh, go back out and play football or go back out and do whatever you were doing." He listened to what I was saying. He made me draw it all out.
Oh,
He
wow.
got me some Eric von Daniken books, which of all the things to get me, that definitely was a part of the ancient civilization. So then what some people would term as conspiracy theories about how ancient civilization, oh sorry, extraterrestrials have seeded, humanity on this earth or had genetic, involvement in all that. I believe, like generally, I believe all of that. I don't believe in all of the stories that are out there, but I'm very open minded to all of it. But it's not just the extraterrestrials from other planets, it's also the fact of interdimensionals as well. So it's not just from this dimension, from other dimensions. Um, and so much of that. I think I'm also not the same as you, and that I do not believe that everything is love and light that's out there, and that if they arrive and uncloak in the morning, that everything is
You have a
good.
reptilian at the end of your bed. You just change your mind.
But it's literally for me, it's like the universe is full of dark and light, good and evil. It's like there will always be a balance of energies in the universe. So it's not, but I do feel that we are being observed by other planets. I do believe that there is I guess, intervention here from time to time as well on the planet when we're about to decimate the whole planet, because if we decimate this planet, then that has a ripple effect out into the universe. So there are so many levels to this that I do believe, but I'm also very conscious that extraterrestrials have been known about by our governments, by our, world leaders forever, like for such a long time. So when it's coming out for a reason. It's coming out in a controlled way.
Very controlled.
Yeah. So to me, it's another one of those things to cause fear, to cause distraction. And when it happens, yeah, I'm sure I will be interested in it, but I will also have a healthy dose of skepticism about it as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of talk about a government planned fake
Yes.
sudden, what do you
Yeah.
call it? Like sudden contact, which will be completely just made up and, yeah, basically designed by the government as well. So when it does happen,
Yes.
you're going to have to really tap into the intuition and figure out what your thoughts are on that one. I'm sure we'll have a lot to say when that happens anyway.
Definitely. And I just right now, mental note to myself that I need to tune into Mary, our alien lady that we
Ooh,
did our
Mary
fantastic episode
Rodwell.
with it as well. Mary Rodwell, exactly. We need to go, I need to start tuning in a bit more to what Mary, because she's such an authority in this space and just a very level headed, like she just has a wonderfully balanced view of all of this. So I need to start tuning into some of the things that she says, because any of these things, it's good just to have additional sources. Like, where do you get your information from? Have it from multiple areas, and then, make your own discerning kind of decision on what you believe, what you don't believe.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, one for both of us here. Where do you still struggle even though you know better? Diane.
Does this have to be spiritual, or can this be anything? I'm thinking, I don't drink enough water, I don't do enough exercise.
The list could be endless.
Exactly. There's loads of things that we know and that we don't do. Um, I have to say that, yeah, because I need to mix up my spiritual practices so much, I find that if I stick to one thing, I really then start to struggle. And I have to remind myself that no, you're not a do this all the time and it works for you. Like, I have to keep evolving and changing what I'm doing. And just right now, at this moment in time, I am definitely finding like the heavier energies and a lot of that distraction, the heavier, like every person I seem to come into contact with at the moment just seems to have that sort of a lot of heavy energy, like the weight of the world is on their shoulders. And again, it's like a running theme through what we're talking about, just the global energy having an impact on, community energy, on our family energy, on our own personal energy. And that is probably the thing that I'm struggling with most. Or I don't know, the struggling. No, struggling is right. Yes, it is. It is struggling. There's no point in trying to spiritually bypass it and think, well, I'm not struggling. Because a lot of my old tools are not working for me on this. And I'm still chipping away and looking at it in different ways to say, how do I get around this? And then even as I hear myself say the words get around this, I always try to remember that, Diane, you're having a 3D experience. You came here to be human, to be in this physical body, to go through the trials and tribulations. So whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, whatever your nervous system might be on high alert for a while, or you may not feel grounded, whatever it is, they're all part of the human experience. And then I bring myself back to just embracing whatever the hell it is I'm feeling in that moment, whatever I'm going through in that moment.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, we're never going to be able to run all of our spiritual practices perfectly. And, I think that because we are humans, I mean, for me, when I have really strong practices, all the other practices suffer. Like I'm always like that. And I feel like it's a little bit of a
Yes.
cycle. Like at the moment, I'm
Yeah.
on like 60 days of meditation every day. And I've just done no grounding. It's like, it's one of those like, but I think that intuitively we'll do what we need to do most of the time. Whatever's needed. Like obviously at the
Definitely.
start of the year, I just felt like I really needed to meditate, and I needed that for clarity in all of the other areas of my life. However, yeah, so there's times where I'm like, oh my God, I'm useless. I've not done any grounding. The one area, though, if I look at all of my journey, my full spiritual journey, the thing that I'm most useless at, which I absolutely know better, because we talk about it a lot, is protecting my energy. I'm so sensitive. I feel everything. Yeah, I'm bloody useless at remembering to do it, even if I've got post-it notes in the mirror. It's just not something I've ever like just put as a daily habit. It's terrible. So please tell me off, Diane.
It's so funny because I think for me it is not something that I do in a conscious way. Like for me, what it ends up being is always the trying, the raising my vibration or sitting in the feeling of love, authenticity, gratitude, those higher. That's all I do. Like there is no because I don't believe in the protection. It's like it's more about the more I can put my field out
Your
there and
vibration up.
and my vibration in the strongest and most energetic and most kind of purposeful way that I can, then everything else just bounces off it or it's not a frequency match for me. So that is probably the thing. And I think it even goes back to my mental health practices that I don't even look at it as a spiritual practice anymore. It's that gratitude and appreciation and some of those higher that they're almost ingrained that they're like in an automatic routine that I have
I
that I
love
don't
that.
even realize that I'm doing them. So,
And
but
you're
you're
probably
absolutely
right. My meditation would probably just do that
yes.
anyway.
Exactly. And that's what I think couldn't agree more that we're called to the things. So if we are truly tuning into our intuition, our inner compass, whatever you want to call it, like the guidance from our own body or whatever we need, if we're truly tuned into that, then okay, I need grounding. Oh, I need to drink more water. I need to get out in nature. I need a cord cutting ritual. You will know always what to do. And that's why I think I don't have any sets, like very few set standard practices, because it's almost what do I need today? What do I need today? What do I need today? The problem is at the moment, it's like, I
Everything.
don't know what I
Oh,
need. It's like a pick
that's
and mix. I'll have two of them, one of them, five of those.
right. Well, here's a good one for you. This is just for you, Diana. Are you ready? What part of your
Ooh,
spiritual journey nearly broke you?
fuck. Well, I think we can all say spiritual awakening. Like they're like as in like it was the best and the worst, but it was that like the words nearly broke you. Like when you say nearly broke you, that's what I thought. Like my alarm bells, my fear went through the roof because I had suffered like mental illness for so long, like a total nervous breakdown, burnout, corporate burnout. So for me to then have the spiritual awakening, and in my head, the alarm bells were, I'm never going back there. I'm never going to have another breakdown or burnout. So I
That
was
must have been so
so
scary.
terrified, like literally so terrified. Um, and that nearly did break me. But I had what saved me. So not just the what broke me was this kind of higher curiosity and perspective, which is so much of, I guess, who I am, how I operate, and so much of what you say my work on the Great Experiment is about. You're looking at yourself with this massive curiosity and fascination. And I was like, no, this feels different. There's something different going on here. This is not a mental breakdown. There's nothing physically wrong with my body, even though I was feeling all of, these really weird sensations. But the fact that it was so prolonged, it was taking so long, but there was that sense of knowing, which, my claircognizance, which I wouldn't have called it back then, that was what kept me going. So again, it's like the things that save us are that really strong pull. You mentioned it about, your mediumship opening up as well. It's like we're almost just being pulled on this path, whether we like it or not. And we can go either kicking and screaming or terrified, whatever way, but we're going. And yeah, and I'm so glad that I had that almost like out of body perspective of just being fascinated by everything that I was going through. That's what saved me because I was terrified. Like I cannot tell you how terrified I was going through that.
Mm. Oh, yeah, that's a challenging one. That I've got a bit of a challenging question for me here as well. Was there a moment that I wanted to walk away from all of it? Ooh, did I ever want to walk away from this spiritual journey or these spiritual gifts? Yes, absolutely, more than once. Um, for me, honestly, I feel like it's been so challenging. The spiritual awakening was one thing, but at the same time, my spiritual awakening felt kind of exciting as well. I discovered all of a sudden I've got these mediumship abilities, and I've been so curious forever about stuff that it was a really fast moving, exciting ride, even though, there was fear sat alongside that. But I feel like the battle with my ego has been the hardest. Up until the spiritual awakening, I was a successful business owner. I was out there a lot. I was talking on stages. I was working with young people, and it felt really unaligned. It felt like, well, I'm a medium here doing this stuff that would be viewed very like wacky and woo-woo. And then I'm out here trying to do this in a sensible way and teach the next generation. And that misalignment, or what I felt personally,
Yes.
it threw me so much. I just didn't know who I was. And I have struggled with that for so many years. I either have to like sit on one side or move to the other, and I find it hard to sit in the middle. Only recently am I feeling more comfortable with sitting in the middle. And I think that that's just part of my journey. But that uncomfortableness of not understanding truly who I was and trying to figure out who am I in my most authentic state, forget everyone
Yes.
else, forget the worry about judgment, and just trying to figure it out. It's been so challenging. So yeah, there's been plenty of times where I've like, sod this, I just want to actually forget everything and go back to the old me, because that was a whole lot easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Liz, I think that's going to be so helpful to a lot of our listeners because, yeah, this doesn't come easy. And I think even how you describe it about, we all feel that sense of division as well
Mm.
between old life and new life, and we're still trying to figure stuff out. But you hit the nail on the head with authenticity. It's like anytime we try to fit into a box, whether for me it was like, oh, corporate work versus, and I'm feeling that since I moved back to Ireland as well. It's like, oh, there's just some of the work that you're doing, and it's like, oh, you're not taken seriously because you're a spiritual, you have a spiritual podcast that happens to have a big F word in the middle of it.
There is
But
that.
just letting people know that, you know what? Like, even if we think of Dr. David Hawkins, scale of consciousness, like authenticity, like it's right up there as well. Like they are the highest vibrations that we can be. So being true to ourselves, we don't have to fit in anybody else's box. So yeah,
Mm.
I get it that we would want to walk away.
It's so funny now, because looking back, at the very beginning of my journey, I hid my face on social media and I named myself the masked medium. Yet at exactly the same time, I put myself out there in the world with the boldest statement of spiritual as fuck. So it's
Yes.
so funny, even the division, or like the absolute like opposite side of the spectrum that I was running at the same time, was just so obvious from the beginning. I wanted to be true and authentic. This is who I am. These are my beliefs. Yet on social media, I'm hiding behind a mask. It doesn't really make sense, does it?
But that's where we need to give ourselves grace. Like that is the messiness of it all. Like when we're figuring it literally is the cocoon period, the metamorphosis. It's like it doesn't happen in the flick of a switch. We have to go through that, that ugly gunk in the middle trying to figure all of this stuff out. And the more we can give ourselves some grace and appreciation for what we're going through as we go through it, that is where the beauty lies. The pain in the arse is that it takes so long to get. It's
And
like
I'm not saying I've mastered it yet.
exactly that's the thing. How many years are we at this now? And it's like still, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yes. Maybe by the time I'm 80, I'll be fine.
Exactly. And I'm okay with that. I am a lifelong learner. That's okay. That's
Yes,
okay.
I've learned eventually to laugh about it now, but sometimes it's painful still.
Oh,
Okay,
definitely.
the final question here. This is a good one, Diane. All right. If we stopped the podcast tomorrow, what would you still want people to remember from us?
Oh, I think for me, like particularly because the question is about the podcast stopping, like the reason that we started this was like bringing spirituality into the real world. It's like neither of us are, the linen wearing, big beads and, sitting all love and light. We're just two ordinary people, business people, mums, ordinary chicks, if you want to call us that, who are want to bring spirituality into the real world. And if people can find ways of what does spiritual as fuck mean to you? How am I going to be spiritual as fuck? And how am I going to be, channel all my gifts, all of my energy into being the best I can be and, have the best ripple effect on humanity? That's what I would like people to walk away from.
Oh, great answer. If I can add to that, because I just agree with everything that you've just said, I feel like bringing the fun into spirituality is something that I've just always
Yes.
wanted to do and loved to do. It's that half of the people that you watch seem very serious, and you feel like sometimes you also have to talk about everything seriously, but actually, no. Like,
Yeah.
have a laugh with yourself when things are going wrong, when you don't follow your intuition. Like,
Yeah.
this is a fun journey. It doesn't need to be serious. And I hope that for everybody listening now, we at least give you a dose of that. Like, don't take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, just have fun with it. So
We definitely don't, do we?
oh God, no, I mean the amount of times that all we do is laugh. I feel sorry for you listening, to be honest. We're just too crazy, aren't we? Oh my goodness. What an episode. I loved that. That was really fun.
Oh, thank you to everybody for sending in the questions. Like, they're really good questions. It's like, I want to go back and listen to this myself afterwards. It's like, what the?
Yeah, honestly, thank you so much to everyone. Every single time that we get a message through social media, or we're getting a comment on the podcast, or you're actually taking part with us like this, or you're part of our online membership, like, it's the reason why we do this, honestly. Like, you are along for the ride with us. We feel you sat with us every time we do an episode. And yeah, thank you. And if you are listening to this for the first time, go ahead and subscribe wherever you're listening, because we'd love you to be involved in the conversation too. The more the merrier, for sure. And I have to say, before we wrap up, that we have got the most incredible episodes coming up this year.
Oh,
It's almost like anyone that we put on the wish list from the beginning, we're kind of just ticking them off. And it feels like energy of the horse, probably. This
yes.
beautiful year of incredible people. We have, for anyone that does not know Veda Austin, like, you must go right now and find her on social media. We have the most fascinating conversation on the secret life of water, of all things, which will be so mind-blowing. You will probably think about it for the next few days. Who else do we have? Charlie Goldsmith. My God. Yeah. International healer. Like, this is a guy that has the power to actually send an intention to you and heal chronic illness, like, and has been tested on, like, mental. If you love past lives, we've got Jonathan Robinson coming on that delves into the soul's full journey and answers a load of those questions that you always have about past lives, but you never get the opportunity to ask, and loads more. So yeah, keep coming along for the ride. Follow, subscribe, come chat to us, come let us know if you like the episode, and yeah, and from the bottom of our hearts, lots of love and gratitude. Diane, anything else you want to add?
Oh, just lots of love and gratitude from here as well. It's like, yeah, we absolutely love the interaction, folks. So just, yeah, keep it coming on Instagram, keep it coming in the Spiritual Renegades community. Love you all.
We'll see you next time.
If you have enjoyed this episode or are a die-hard fan of the show, make sure to subscribe right now so you don't miss out on future episodes. And to share the love, you can give us an awesome 5-star review.
Help us create a world that is spiritual as fuck.